All right, guys, what is going on? Today I have an exciting course for you guys, and this is how to set up your Etsy shop. Open your Etsy shop, get the account set up properly, get your shop section set up properly, and get your listings up and running, optimized, ready to go. All the best practices that go with opening an Etsy shop to make sure that you guys do it right the first time so you have the best chance of success right out of the gate. So before we get started, the first step is going to be opening the shop. So getting your name entered and get your account information in there. So the things that you guys need, there's three things, is the name of your shop. So an idea of what your name's going to be, and keep in mind that your name could be taken. So you may have to change it around a little bit, abbreviate it, or add like company at the end or something like that. So just have a backup plan when it comes to your shop name. Even though you may have to abbreviate or whatnot, you can still have your branding as the full shop name. So it's not a make or break deal. But also keep in mind, if you're using a name that someone else may have a variation of it and their shop is up and running, well branded and doing well, you may want to steer clear of using a similar variation of that name. Especially if they have a company around that name that's trademarked. So you may want to look into that before you move forward with opening your shop with a similar name. So have the name ready to go. You want to have bank account information, and that's where Etsy will pay you out to. So you need to put a bank account information in there in your account when you're setting it up. And then you also need a credit card. That's how Etsy charges you for fees. So they charge you for any fees that you have, like listing fees, advertising fees, final sale fees, go off the credit card, and then they pay you out to via a direct deposit to your bank. So you can't use a credit card for both. You can't use an account, a bank account number for both. So just have that stuff ready. Otherwise, you won't be able to fully go through the process of actually setting up your store and getting it open and all in one step. So right now, what we're going to do is dive in. I'm going to go through the steps of opening your Etsy store so you can see it happen, and you can make sure that you're prepared and ready to go. So the first thing that you need to do is go to Etsy.com, and then once you're there, you can either hit the sign in up here. Depending on if you've been to Etsy, it may give you some different options. So you can hit that, and then it'll have a register box, or you can scroll below, and at the very bottom, it'll have a sell on Etsy button. So you can click that right here, and that should bring you to where you guys need to be. With this is just a sales page showing you the value of selling on Etsy. So that's what we want to be at. And we're going to hit open our shop here. Once we hit open our shop, it's going to ask you for an email address. I would recommend having an email address that is going to be unique to your Etsy shop so you can keep everything aligned and organized. So you know anything coming from Etsy as far as like sales or notifications, it'll all be coming to one place. If you don't want to set up another email, you can use your personal and change it later, but I would recommend just setting up a business email account through Gmail. It's really easy to do. But if you don't have one, like I said, you can use whatever email you have in here. So I'm going to put my email in here, and then I'm going to hit continue. So once you hit continue, it's going to bring you to your account creation page where they're going to need your name and a password. So I'm going to do that and hit register. All right, and once you guys do that, it's going to bring you to another page where you're going to go and scroll to the bottom and click open your Etsy shop. All right, so here we go. This is where we start putting in your shop preferences as far as how your shop is set up. So you can choose your shop language, your shop country, your shop currency, and then you'll also see which of these best describes you. Selling as my full-time job, sell part-time but hope to sell full-time, and sell part-time but that's how I like it, or other. So whatever best describes you, this is really not that important. It's not going to change anything as far as your shop goes. So whatever you think you fit into. So I'm just going to choose one of those, and then I'm going to do save and continue. Now here is where we get to name our shop. So this can be exciting, but it can also be frustrating. Like I mentioned earlier, if your shop name is taken, you may have to abbreviate it. So you may have to play around with it and see what is available. I'm just going to do a test shop name. This isn't going to be, this is going to be a demo shop, so I'm not going to take this too seriously. But like, for instance, if you do like Emily's flower shop, I bet this is taken, but let's see. So check availability. See, it's not available, but it will give you other options of what may be available, like Emily's Flower Shop Co., Emily's Flower Show Gifts. Doesn't make much sense. So yeah, make sure it makes sense. You see how sometimes it abbreviates this, takes out the vowels. The easiest way is to add a co at the end. But again, you may want to bounce to another page and just look at Emily's Flower Shop to begin with and see, is it open? Because a lot of these probably are taken, but they're not even open or running. So then you can probably use something that's similar. It's not going to matter. But if Emily's Flower Shop is up, running, killing it on Etsy, doing really well, you probably aren't going to want to use a name that's similar, because that could create problems down the road as far as confusion, trademark issues. So just keep that in mind. So like I said, I'm just going to throw in a demo name here because it's not going to be a big deal for me. I'm not going to actually sell on this shop. I'm just doing this for you guys so you can see how to open a shop. So you would put in your name. Once you get one that works so that you're happy with, hopefully your first choice is available, you're going to save and continue. Once you save and continue from your shop name, it's going to ask you to stock your shop. So Etsy does this a little backwards. They want you to put your first product or your first couple products in before you can get to creating your shop sections. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You could just add a sample product. You would still have to go through the steps and activate it, which is going to cost you 20 cents. And then once you get to the next step, you can deactivate it and touch back with it later. And then just work on setting up your shop sections first, and then adding products more serious and take the time to do that. Or if you're going to bounce right from this to setting up your shop, you can put in your first product, your first couple of products, and get it open that way. So this is the way they do it. I'm not sure why they make you add products before you set up your shop sections, but either way, however you do it, just make sure your shop sections are set up right away. And I'm going to go over that in the next course, but that is one thing that's really important to your success on Etsy, is making sure your shop sections are set up and doing good as far as the best practices go, which I'm going to go over. And then your listings are also set up, optimized according to the best practices as well. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and set up a sample listing and go through the best practices and just show you how to do that, so you guys know the framework and can get started on the best foot possible, because you want to have the most success coming out of the gate as possible, and that starts with your listings, how they're set up. So we're going to go here and click Add Listing. And this is going to be your photos section. So they have 10 photo spots in here. So you want to put the most photos that you have of your object, of your item, as possible. So if you have the item, you want to show the detail of the item, you want to show the item in use if possible. You may not have all the photos available. You may have to add photos down the road. That's fine. Just add as many as you have. That just shows the detail of your item. And just keep in mind, when people are scrolling through searching for products, they're going to be a bunch of little thumbnails. So you want to make sure your item is popping out at them. You want to make sure it's clear, easy to see. The background doesn't take away from the item, and it pops out at them. So I'm just going to throw up a sample listing here to show you, so we can finish the rest of the sections to show you guys. All right, so this is going to be, I just have a Lab Mom shirt that I'm going to use, and then I also have the shirt specs of the sizing that I want to add in here. Now you see it flags this size is not the appropriate size to look the best, so they want at least 2,000 pixels wide. So I can adjust this and put it back up to make sure that it shows the best quality for customers buying. But right now I'm not going to mess with it, but just keep that in mind. If it does flag your pictures, you may want to adjust that. Now chances are it still will look good. You can test it and view the item on Etsy, and see how it looks. But if it doesn't look clear, if it's blurry, you're going to want to fix that. And then here is something that people miss a lot of the times. Up here, you can crop items as well. If you hit the little crop button and change the sizing, automatically it'll crop it for you and save that so it looks good up here. But also, this is the picture that shows up on the listing when people are searching. So you want to make sure to adjust the thumbnail so that nothing's cut off. So here you see how the top is a little cut off. I'm just going to drag that down. And I'm going to save that so it looks the best on the thumbnail picture. And this is what pops out at people. It's super important. And you can also zoom in and zoom out if you need to as well, depending on how it looks. So we're just going to save that. And then if you have a video, this is also good. Etsy's really pushing videos. I don't have one for this. You can use still images and create videos from still images. There's apps that you can do that. But that's something to keep in mind for future listings, turning your images into video or creating video for your images. Etsy's pushing that. That's what's going to help you down the road. I think it's not going away. So that's going to be an important thing to consider. Now, your listing title, this is where your SEO starts, the search engine optimization, how people find your listing. So you're going to hear SEO a lot. Really, it comes down to your title and tags, the keywords that you use, because people are using those words in the search bar to find your listing. So if you're not using the right keywords, you're not using specific keywords, you're not using keywords to target the right audience, you're not going to be found. So you want to start off on the right foot. Use high quality specific keywords in your title to make sure that you're found. So this is a dog mom shirt or for labs. So I'm just going to do lab mom unisex t-shirt. All right, I'm going to start with that, and then you can add in additional keywords that still relate to your item that people may be searching for. So I can do dog mom shirt. I can do dog mom gift. New dog mom tee. So you can put in a couple of different keywords that are still describing your item. You can also put so this is a lab, so I can do lab, I would do lab parent shirt or something like that. So just a couple of different variations of keywords that describe your item that people may be searching for to actually find your item. So any of these may be what people are searching for. They have an idea in their mind to find some type of lab shirt. So we're going to hopefully lead them to this listing so they have the best opportunity to see it and buy it. All right, so then you want to put about the listing, who made it, I did, what is it, finished product, when did you make it, made to order, which is going to be the case for a lot of you guys. Now, if you're selling, if you have stuff that you've already made, you can put one of these. Or if you're selling vintage stuff, you can put one of these. So you can only sell items that are 20 years or older that weren't made by you. So just make sure that you're either making or designing your items or making and designing your items. You can't sell stuff that's not older than 20 years that you didn't design or make on Etsy. That's against their policies. And that's why a lot of people get kicked off, because they don't read the policies and they wonder why they got kicked off. So you want to make sure that you're following the guidelines, because they can kick you off if you're not doing the right things. All right, so the category is also very, very important, that you're putting your items in the appropriate category. So this is a smart field, so it's nice that Etsy will give you related categories depending on what you search for in here. So I'm just going to put, dog shirt, and then it gives me clothing, unisex adult clothing, tops, tees, t-shirts, and then it'll give me other categories that are less accurate. So dog shirt and graphic tees, or t-shirts. So this is a graphic tee. So I'm actually going to choose this one. And then it'll populate all of these categories that it could be under when people are searching. So you can search outside of the search bar on Etsy. You can search by category. and filter out stuff that way. That's why it's really important that you choose the right category, but then you also choose the right attributes that go along with it, because people will, you have to choose a category for a listing. So that goes without saying. You just want to make sure you choose the right one, but people forget to do the attributes right here. You want to make sure to do as many of these as are applicable to your listing, because this is how people sort through their search. If they're searching via not the search bar, if they're searching through the category fields, you're going to be filtered out if you don't have these things filled out. And these change depending on what category you're selling in. These are always going to be different. So these are mine because I have a clothing item selected. You know, if you're selling jewelry, it's going to have something different, furniture, something different, art, something different. So keep that in mind, that they're going to be different for everybody. So I'm just going to go through and fill these out. So the size is going to be men's. I offer more than one. Primary color, we're just going to do, since this is a blue shirt, we're just going to do blue there. Secondary color, I'm just going to put nothing there, because we're just going to say that I have just blue. Clothing style, this isn't really any of these. I guess you could put streetwear if you want, but it's definitely not athletic, gothic, or anything like that. So we'll just put streetwear. Occasion, this isn't for an anniversary, bachelor party, or anything like that. So we would leave that blank. So again, don't feel like because it's here you have to fill it out. Because if you put in here anniversary, and it's going to start showing it to people that are looking for anniversary shirts, and then it's going to kill your SEO, because it's definitely not an anniversary shirt. So don't do that. Just leave it blank. Holiday, again, this isn't a holiday shirt, so we are going to leave that blank. They have sleeve length. We're going to put short sleeve. Neckline is going to be crew. Graphic, this is important. So this is an animal graphic. So we would put that in there as well. So we have most of these attributes filled out, which is good. So we want to make sure to fill out as many of those as possible. So renewal options, where it automatically renews after 3 months. You can have that set up, or you can do manual. I like automatic because I don't want to mess with it. So it'll just, when the renewal cycle comes, it'll renew it, charge me the 20 cents. And then is it a physical product or is it a digital? Digital is if you sell like a template or a book or something like that. You can have it where it's a digital product, and you would upload it. When people buy it, it will automatically give it to them to download. So this is definitely not a digital product. It is a physical product. The description is important. You want to basically, with a description, you want to answer any question before a customer may have it. So you want to start, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I usually put the title of the listing first, and then I'll put who the item is for second. So I would put something like this, this is a super soft shirt that's perfect for any lab moms out there. Something like that. A couple sentence or two about the item, who it's perfect for. And then you would put any specs, or like sizing, washing instructions. Next. If I could spell. Oh my goodness. All right, so you'll put that next. You would break that out, because you want to keep it in sections. You don't want to put a blob of information together, as people aren't going to be able to decipher that. They're going to look at it pretty quick, and you want to keep it in paragraph sections that are spread out. So then the next, you can do like any other information, like you can put ordering instructions. Especially if you are using the personalization function, you want to make sure you have ordering instructions as well in there, which is important. You can also put in your delivery and processing times, just to kind of reiterate that. Now that will show on your listing already, but it's never hurts to be redundant, because people don't usually read everything. So the nice thing is, if you're selling a lot of the same stuff, you can create a template and just use the same template, and then you're going to change the title every time. And if there's any other information, you can tweak and change it. But yeah, just make sure that you're hitting on those things. Last, like any other FAQs or important info that they need to know as well. So related to your niche, just make sure you have all that in there. Your description should not be 3 words. You want to put in a couple of sections in there that are important. Take the time, show that you care, that you're really laying out the important attributes of this product. So it just helps build value in your product, and then it also helps build trust that people will get what they're seeing because the description is filled out. It's very thorough, and it makes a lot of sense. Production partner is if you have someone, so if you're designing the items and maybe you have someone that's shipping them, like a print on demand or something like that, you would put the production partner here. You have to do that. But if you are making and shipping your items yourself, you would not put a production partner in there. So I've seen people make that mistake. Do not put a production partner if you're doing every aspect of your designing, creating, making. You do not need a production partner. All right, tags, the next big SEO part of your listing. So you have 13 tag spots. You guys need to make sure you're using all of them. They all need to be related to your listing. So there's multiple strategies when it comes to titles and tags. I'm just going to go over the basic best practices in this video to show you how to set these up. So there is 13 spots and there's a 22 character limit per spot, including spaces. So some of your tags may not fit by nature because it is a smaller space. You're not going to be able to get as specific as you did in your title because it's always better to start with trying to be more specific to bring in a specific audience looking for your item. If you go too broad, a lot of people may see it, but less and less of those people are going to be interested. So I'm just going to go through here and fill out related tags. So I'm going to do dog mom shirt, gift for dog mom, lab mom shirt, gift for lab mom, rescue dog shirt, dog graphic tee, lab graphic, we'll do dog lover shirt. Let's do dog gifts, which is you're gonna be specific and then you're also going to be a little bit more broad. So dog gifts is pretty broad, but it is up to the algorithm to kind of piece some of these keywords together to find the best audience. So you just want to cover all your bases when it comes to creating your keywords. So we would do I have this one? New dog owner, dog adoption gift, we'll do Labrador Retriever, and Lab Dog Tea. So some of these are pretty related. Some of them are a little bit more broad. It's a good mix of keywords that are all related to the listing. So you can still, like I said, go more broad, but don't go super broad. Like I wouldn't just put a keyword that just says shirt. That's way, way, way too broad. Now the algorithm could place that with a dog keyword, but I don't like to leave it up to chance. I like to put in, make it at least a little bit more specific. If you're going to put shirt, at least put dog shirt. Some of these are going to be redundant. I've used lab, I used dog, I used mom a couple of different times, but again, if I'm trying to rank for these keywords, I don't want to leave it to chance that the algorithm is going to put them together for me. I want to at least start on the right foot by putting some of these keywords together in a tag. Material keywords, there's 13 spots. You don't have to use all these. These really don't play much into SEO, so don't feel like you have to fill out all of these. Just anything that applies to your item. So if it's jewelry, you would put gold or bronze, silver, whatever. Since this is shirt, I'm just going to put poly cotton blend. You just put 1 or 2 or 3 keywords in there, again, just showing what it's made out of so people can see that. And then the price you would put, we'll just put $25. Quantity, depending on how many you have. If you want to use a SKU, like if you have databases and stuff that track your inventory, you can use a specific SKU there to make your life a little bit easier if you have a bunch of stuff. Variations, this can be a little tricky, but if you have different variations of the item, you can put that here. So this adds, automatically will put sizes in here, so I can put any sizes that I have. So size, we can do small, medium, large, whatever we want to put here. Because this is related to your category as well, what it automatically defaults to. So we can put that in there. If I'm selling just one small shirt that I have, I wouldn't do this. I would just put the size in the title, in the description, and then I wouldn't even give this as a variation because there's not more than one. And then if you can add a variation, so more than times than not, we would add like color if you have clothing. So we do add the color, and then you can do royal, and then let's just do red so you guys can see that. And then you can choose to where quantities vary for each color or prices vary for each color. So that can come in handy. Say if you have if I'm selling like a 2XL shirt, they're more expensive. So I'm going to change the price on that. I don't want it to be the same price. And with colors too, if you have more expensive items, you can change the color, price for the color. So like with jewelry, if you're selling a gold necklace, that's going to be more expensive than a bronze necklace. So you're going to want to change the prices per the variations. So I'll do it to show you. So for sizes, let me just add a 4X in here, and then I'll do prices vary for each size, and I'll update that, and you see how it will give you the option to change the price for each size. So you can click them all, and it'll make it a little bit easier when you do update price to change them all at once. So it'll automatically put $25, and then I'll go down to the 4X, and maybe I'll change this to 30. So you see how it will automatically do that, which makes your life a little bit easier. Personalization, you can turn this on or off, give people the option if you want to offer personalized stuff. For instance, for clothing, if you want to add the option for people to add a name to it, jewelry, add a name to it. Otherwise, you would leave this off. If you do have it on, it will give you the ability to do instructions for the buyers and make the personalization optional. If you don't want to make it across the board where people have to get the personalization, you can make it optional. If you have to use the personalization section, sometimes you do because you run out of variation room, then you would not make this optional because people have to fill it out. So depending on what you want to do, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. I'm not going to get too in the weeds right now with that, but if you want to offer the personalization option as a way to make additional money, that's good. Just make sure you're filling out the instructions for buyers. I would also put the instructions in your listing description as well, and then it'll give you a sample here as far as what the buyers see. So if you want to write out, so it'll add the preview rather of what they see. All right, so that's if you want to do that. So we're not going to do that. And then the shipping. So you can have it calculated for me, which will look up where the item is or where the customer is and automatically charge them what it costs to ship. So you don't have to do anything. When you print the label, the customer already paid for shipping, and it should be the same cost. Or you can change it to fixed, which is a little bit more complicated because shipping prices do vary depending on where they're at. So for instance, it's going to be different to ship to California as it is to Pennsylvania, but maybe you just want to charge like $5 across the board no matter what. Sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money on shipping. Whatever you want to do there. Probably the easiest thing for newbies is just to have it calculated for you. You would put the zip code of where you're shipping it from. That's how it knows how to calculate it. You would put the processing time. Super important that this is accurate. If you put 1 to 2 business days, you better be shipping stuff in 1 to 2 business days. If you don't ship it for a week, that's going to look bad. Etsy can see that. That could get your shop shut down. So just make sure that this is accurate. Maybe you start out with 1 to 2 weeks or 3 to 5 days and you're shipping it in 1 to 2 business days. You can always change that later. You can update your listings to this processing time. So a good time frame is usually within 3 to 5 days to ship an item. That I think is pretty normal. This is where you'll ship. So if you want to ship to United States and the rest of the world, you can put that there. Just keep in mind that if you're shipping international, there's a whole other can of worms. Things could get lost. It's way more expensive. Sometimes there's duty fees, import fees that we don't know about. So just make sure you're prepared to deal with that stuff if you do decide to ship international. Your audience may be international, so it may be important to ship international, but just keep that in mind. When you're starting out, maybe you just want to try to do US only, and that's fine too. And then you can update your shipping classes as far as how you want to ship stuff, whether you want to use Priority Mail Express. These are the options that will show up for the customer, so they can select these if they want a faster shipping option or not. So maybe some of these you don't want to offer. It's totally up to you. It's always good to give the customer options to get stuff faster. So they're going to obviously pay more, but if you have it calculated, it should charge them for what it actually costs. Down here, you can do free shipping for domestic, free shipping for international, which I would not recommend because international shipping is very expensive. But maybe you want to do free shipping for the US only. You would click that here, but it has to make sense for your margins. So just make sure that you have that figured out and do what's best for your business if you do want to offer free shipping. Here you can do a handling fee. So this would add to the cost. I probably wouldn't recommend doing a handling fee just because customers, when they're checking out, they don't want to see a bunch of extra fees. So if you do a shipping fee and then you have a handling fee, that's not going to look good because a lot of times they're coming in, they like the price. Okay, they expect a lot of times to pay something for shipping, but then you have a handling fee. It just may not be a good look, but do what's good for your business. I personally don't do handling fees. And then the item weight and size. This is super important. If you're doing calculated shipping, you need this stuff because it's how it calculates how much to charge the buyer. So make sure if you don't have a scale, get a scale from, you can get it from Amazon or like a mini scale, weigh your stuff, measure your stuff. If you're selling the same things, you only have to do this one time. If you're selling different stuff, it's a little bit more complicated. You have to do it each and every time for each and every item. But you got to make sure it's right, otherwise it won't charge the people enough. So if it charges them $6, it costs you $15 to ship it. You're going to go out of business pretty fast doing things that way because it's like can be a lot more of an expense and really start cutting into your margins. So you want to make sure not to do that. So we're just going to put in a template weight and size in there just so we can see this. All right, so I think we have everything filled out, and so you can see how much it's going to charge people depending on where they live. So you can see like via US, or if like we want to go to Australia, you'll see, the shipping price really jumps up, for international, but you can kind of demo that. And then we can hit preview. Oh, there's something missing. So it will show that, I forgot to put a zip code in there. All right, so we'll just throw a zip code in there, and then we'll do preview. Hopefully we got everything. All right, boom. So this is a preview. You can see how it looks before you hit publish. So you see the title. This is the variations that we set up. So depending on the size here, so say they click red and small, it's going to be $25. But if they click 4X, this is going to go up to 30, which this is the only thing that doesn't change when you're previewing it. It doesn't change the price, but on the actual listing, it will change the price. So the price won't change on the preview, which could be a little confusing. So here's where your materials show up, and then this is your description and how it will show up. So if we want to fix something else, we would do continue editing, go back in here and continue editing and change that. Otherwise, we're going to hit save and continue if it lets us. All right, so I got to update the domestic services. I thought I did that. All right, save and continue. All right, so I got that listing in here. Now you can continue to add more listings if you want, or you can just hit save and continue, and you'll go to the next steps as far as setting up your actual shop, which is probably what we want to do. We want to come back and do more listings later, but I like to have your shop fully set up before you start going in and adding a bunch of listings, because your shop sections will play into your SEO and your success on Etsy. So it's important to have those filled out as soon as possible, so you're starting out of the gate on a good foot, and you have all that optimized, ready to go. So we're going to hit save and continue to get to the next step. All right, this is the next step where how you'll get paid. So you have to put if you're an individual or sole proprietor or an incorporated business. Most people are probably going to be the individual or sole proprietor. And then you would go through here and put your information as far as your first name, your birth, your address, and your country. Fill all that in, and then it's going to take you to the next step for the billing information. All right, so we set up, the last step was for the account information, so they could put deposits in there when you make money on Etsy, which hopefully happens sooner than later. Now it's as far as the billing information, you have to put a credit card in here to be able to fully set up your account, and then it'll charge you 20 cents because we have one listing that we already set up. So if you guys set up a demo listing, either way, it's going to charge you 20 cents. And then the next step, if you want to take that listing down to get your shop finalized, you can do that, or you can leave it up and finalize your shop sections, whatever you guys want to do that. So I'm going to put in the account information, and then I'm going to hit open shop. All right, boom. The shop is open. Now we have to work on the shop sections, which is super, super important, because as you see, there is nothing filled out. So people probably aren't going to buy from me if my shop looks like this. We got to make sure to add a little zazzle, whatever you guys want to call it, to your shop. Your branding, all that good stuff is going to be super important, so that you can have the best chance of success early on in your Etsy journey. All right, guys, so let's go through setting up your shop section so you can have the best chance of success. Really, the key is you want to get this stuff filled out as soon as possible, because it does play into not only the perception of your shop when people are landing on it, it also plays into your SEO, because Etsy likes to send traffic to completed shops. If your shop is not complete, you're not going to get as much traffic, you're not going to get as much sales. So we want to make sure that is filled out, because as it looks now, it's not very professional, it's not complete, it looks like a dumpster fire. So let's go ahead and go through the different sections just so we can make sure that you guys know what to do when you're filling this stuff out. So the main thing that we want to do is go ahead and click Edit Shop here. And this will bring us to our editing page. So we can go through here and start editing our shop sections. Banner image, you can hit here and it will give you what type of banner. If you want a big banner or a mini banner, I would probably just do a big banner, and it has the minimum image size, 1200 by 300 pixels. So you can go in to websites such as like canva.com and create a free banner for your shop. Now, I like to showcase my best-selling seasonal items or just favorite items on my banner. You can also have your logo on your banner. It's a good place to showcase stuff, because that's the first thing that people see when they come to your shop. You want to make sure to have a banner. So figure that out and go design one so you can have a banner in your shop. The next thing outside of the banner, once we have that added in there, we want to go to your logo. So again, your logo is super important. You want to make sure to have a logo. If you don't have one, go ahead and design one, or have someone create one for you on websites such as like Fiverr.com. You can have someone create a logo for you for very inexpensive, $5-10. So we would just go in here and throw a logo. All right, so I'm just going to use my Handmade and Beyond logo just for the sense of ease. I'm going to upload it here, and then you can crop it if you want, or hit save. And you can see it, and we'll see that it looks good. So you want a clean logo, not with background. I like white background. Look at major brand logos and see how they look. They pop out. They're very clear. They don't have backgrounds. So just make sure your logo is the same. Shop owner, you should add a picture of yourself here. It just adds to the realistic aspect of your store, showing that you're a real person, real small business owner. So add a good headshot there, and you would just click on the camera and upload your file that way. Pretty easy. So you can feature listings here. So once you have a couple of different listings, you can feature certain listings here, but we're not at that step yet. So it lets you feature 4 listings right away. Once you add listings down the road, you can feature certain ones such as seasonal, bestsellers, favorites, whatever you guys want to do as far as featuring listings. The announcement section is right here. You want to put something in here. This is a good space if you have coupon codes, announcements, shipping deadlines. You would put it here. If you don't have anything super important, you can put something simple like welcome to my shop. But keep in mind, you're going to use this down the road for like for Christmas. It's good to put make sure to order by December 15th to get your items before Christmas. Anything that's important like that, or you want people to see, you would use your announcement section for. People make the mistake of putting their about section in their announcement section, like about their journey and their store. That is not what the announcement section is for. You'll have a space below to put that stuff. So keep in mind, very important stuff, time-sensitive stuff, welcome messages should go in the announcement section. Shop updates. You can add videos, updates, photos on the updates section. You have to do it from the Etsy app, the Sell on Etsy app. But it's good if you're making stuff, take pictures on your phone, upload it to the updates to show people what you're doing. Your shop in action. I believe you can still tag items too. So if you're making a necklace, you can still, the necklace is half made, you can still tag it to the regular listing. So people, when they click on the picture, would go to your actual listing to buy the completed item. So that's something that you can do to create content, routine content on your shop. It's pretty easy to do, but I can't demo it here because it has to be done from the Sell on Etsy app, which you want to make sure to get anyways, because it helps you respond to messages faster and just do things a little bit quicker where you don't have to log into your desktop all the time. Here you can add a video and photos. This goes in your about section. So this is basically your about section. You want to put behind the scenes photos of your shop, of your workspace, of you making products, whatever you're doing, you want to do that here. It just helps show people that you're a real person, you're a real small business. People can take a look behind the curtain and kind of see what they're doing. So whatever you want to do there, make sure you're adding something. If you don't have a video, take pictures. That's fine too. But add something in here, and then it shows as a slideshow. So we're just going to do a sample picture. Just of a screen print shop here, just to show something in here. And then this is basically your about section. This is the title. Whatever, something to grab their attention, whatever you guys want to do there. And then here we would add our story. This is how you got started, why you love doing what you do, etc. Anything that's important that people would want to know. Usually like 1 or 2 paragraphs is good. Don't put like 1 sentence. You want to spend some time just showing people your journey. Maybe you started out as a hobby, started doing markets, craft fairs, and you really love doing what you're doing, and this is why you love doing what you're doing. So just tell your story. People like to engage with that. That's why people come to Etsy to buy from small business and small creators like yourself. If you have a website, you can add that here, or social media. So you can click here and do your Facebook link, your Twitter link, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever you guys want to do here, and save each one. So as you put it here, you save it and go back and add the other one. So if you have those channels, make sure you add them here so people can find you outside of Etsy. Shop members section. This is something you want to make sure to fill out too. You will put the member name here. And then you would put the role, whether the owner, assistant, and then you would put a little bit about them right here. It doesn't have to be, this isn't your about section, so it should be a 1 or 2 sentences. And then you would put a headshot photo here, and then you would save it. So it just adds to building out your shop so it looks professional. You can do something cute, like if you have dogs, you can put a dog in there. I have my 2 dogs in mine as well as myself. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do there, just kind of make it your own. Shop policies are the next section. This is super, super important. You have to make sure you have your shop policies activated. Etsy's made it a lot easier now where they have template shop policies. All you have to do is activate it. Before you would have to write out all your policies. But if you don't have shop policies, it's a big, big red flag for buyers and Etsy. So make sure you have these filled out. So here is the template that's already here for you. Basically, you can edit it here if you want to change anything, but it's returns and exchanges, whether you accept them, and then here's your policy. Contact you within this amount of time, and then ship the item back within this amount of time. So you can set that up. Do you allow cancellations? Do you allow returns for specific items? You can check or uncheck these. And then if you have a privacy policy, you can add that here. You should add a privacy policy. If you go to Allura.io, they have template privacy policies for free you can generate for your shop and just copy and paste them in here. So that is really easy. And then once you have that done, you're satisfied, you just hit publish, and basically that activates your shop policies. So there you go. Your shop policies are activated. It's as simple as that. It's 2 steps. A lot of people just don't realize that they have to activate it. And then down here, more information. If you have FAQs that are important, you want to make sure to put those there. And then seller details. This is just automatically populating about selling in Europe and those countries. So the FAQs can be super helpful to buyers as well. And that's pretty much it as far as the shop policies. So some of these are going to take more time. I ran through it kind of fast, but you want to make sure you're spending enough time for your logo, your banner image, your about section. That's what's going to take you the longest amount of time, but it's going to be really, really important to make sure all of your shop policies are filled out and look good. So once you're happy with that, you can do view shop, and this is going to be how your shop looks. I didn't add everything clearly because this is a sample shop, but you can see your logo. You will have a banner image in here, so make sure that you have a banner image because this is going to be up top here. You're going to have a shop owner image, and then you see how big the in your about section, if you have photos and videos, they really pop out here. So you can add, if you have a couple, it'll show as a slideshow. You can slide through here, and then your about section is going to be big. Your shop members section, and then your policies. So that stuff will all add to the professionalism and how your shop looks when you get it filled out. So make sure you do that first, and then go back to filling out your listings and building out your listings for your shop, and all that stuff plays together in your SEO. I think because Etsy makes you put a listing up first, people think that they don't have to pay attention to their shop section, so they just focus on listings, and they don't have a logo, they don't have an about section, and they don't have policies or any of that stuff. They never go back to update that. So that's not correct. You got to make sure they go back in and update all that stuff so you have the best chance of success. Your shop looks good. It looks professional. So hopefully that helps you guys get started with going in there, diving in, and getting all that stuff set up.